Yeah, huge garden space. Huge garden space. That's 50 or 60 feet. That's a lot. And then there's going to be these little open areas you see here going to be for planting flowers and decorative flowers and plants to decorate the front of the home. And then we'll have a walkway coming into the front. Maybe we'll shape it, curve it a little, like do an S shape from the entrance here to walk in. And there'll be a cement walk from one end right next to the wall all the way to the parking pad. So we have, as you can see, once the two decorative gates are up, we're going to have privacy also to the entrance of the home. Not that it's exactly necessary. A lot of Vietnamese will leave it wide open. But we want that form. We want that formation to go along with the wall. Now our neighbor here, the old man and old woman that live here, and they live with one son and daughter and a couple grandchildren. He owns the rice fields extending from this side of the house all the way out and around to this side of our house. So that's all his rice field. These guys are making sure that wall is like straight. And, brick and mortar is so strong. It's a big old wall. You can't even see the front of the house and when the gates are up, there'll be a little bit of clearing view, but not much. So the fortress-like entrance is okay. And then this little open area here, which I think looks really great. So the front entrance is going to be now privatized to a degree, secure to a degree. The less you see, the more secure from outsiders. Yeah, that's the little one up there. That's the chief boss right there. My awesome wife doesn't miss a trick. All parts of the construction here, she has made sure is covered. Every detail she has ensured has been covered. Now today, I didn't get a chance to show you. I will when I walk back inside momentarily. We brought in the several wall fans for airing out the place, for ventilation, electric fans, which will be on off switch, which will blow hot air out and keep the house having some airflow, smells, whatever, even though we'll have a range hood over the kitchen, a vented hood over the kitchen. Stove, you gotta have it. You gotta have you gotta have the venting in the bathrooms and bedrooms. This is the old man right here, our neighbor. I love that guy. He's got one crooked eye and one straight eye, but he's very friendly. God, he's got to be, I was guessing 70. Yeah, all of that out here and all the way out here, this is all his rice. God bless that man. Him and his wife are very friendly. I have not met his son, daughter-in-law, or his grandkids. Seen them, haven't spoken to them. Mostly just spoke to the old man and his wife. Really cool, really awesome people. So it's coming together. You've seen this particular view, excuse me, too many times when I do these updates. But it's once it's painted and everything is finished and you have your lighting and the amount of window and door light that we have coming into the house, I just love the place. I'm just falling in love with this house, and it's just really awesome for me personally to have this accomplishment. Now we'll take a little walk this way, okay? We got some people working out here a little bit. Let me take a little walk this way because there's something I want to talk about. People, some expat, low rent, retired, or not retired expatriates from the West, if they come out here, any part of Southeast Asia, and they get a wife or a girlfriend, there's this really corny rule excuse me, about, you don't buy your girlfriend a house, you don't buy your wife a house. In the position that I'm in, with the huge age difference between me and my wife just turned the corner towards 40, and I'm as I mentioned earlier, I'll be rejecting Medicare this year. That math isn't too difficult to put together. If you're an old man and you've worked all your life and you've saved all your money and you've retired out to Southeast Asia, don't buy your wife or your I would say you don't buy your girlfriend a house. People say, oh, the rent is so cheap out here in Vietnam. Yeah, sure. I could have rented a home. I could have rented a beautiful home. I could have went up a level from the home we're in now into something glorious and still been in a really good position financially in terms of the rental costs out here. Enough for forever and forever on top of that. But I have told you what's going on with the tourism now in Vietnam, the influx. They're talking about they want 35 million foreign tourists by 2030. So each year they're going to get more and more. And from what it didn't take me long to see what was going on in Hoi An with the tourism and how absolutely insane Hoi An went literally overnight. This is the whole reason for this. We were like, I'm out of here. My wife felt the same way. She was like, let's get out of here. But we looked around for land in Hoi An, and they wanted anywhere from, at the time, it's settled down a little bit, but not much. Because of the influx of tourism, because of the potential for rental incomes, for business incomes, and for any kind of money-making operation that you can think of, that's what Hoi An is turning into now, in terms of an economic generator for the populace there. So it's just gone batshit crazy. And when we were looking for land to settle in Hoi An, maybe in a pocketed area, you've seen some of my fishing spots and stuff, there are areas that resemble this to a smaller degree, that you could maybe find a pocket of land similar to what we have now, but in a far less likely possibility. Anyways, the pieces that we did look at, the land that we did look at around that surrounding area, which is quite vast, They were asking anywhere from 30 million a square meter of land to 50 million a square meter. So 100 square meters of land, which is 4 times less than what I have here. Just a simple, because our piece of land came in at about 504 square meters total. 100 square meter piece of land in Hoi An would cost you anywhere from 3 to 5 billion dong. Now, if I were to do the conversion in my head, just for the 100 square meters, which is just narrow, that's that business I was telling you about, 10, 12 feet wide by, you know, what would it be? Forgive me. It's just a small, narrow 100-meter plot of land. And you're talking about anywhere in Hoi An from $150 to $225,000 US just for the land. That's not a house or a build or anything in addition to that. That's just how expensive the land was in Hoi An. And it was like, get the hell out of here. You guys are crazy. But you have some rich people, some Vietnamese, Viet Q, which are Vietnamese that are coming back to Vietnam from America after making their fortune there. Coming out here to retire or to re-assimilate, re-citizenize themselves back into their homeland. They've got bank accounts that far exceed mine. So for them to buy a 5 billion, 7 billion dong piece of land in Hoi An because, Hoi An is so awesome, which is bullshit in my opinion. It's nothing for them. And another 5 billion for a house, done. No hesitation. But economically, just under general purposes, not that I couldn't afford to do that, but just based on common sense, I was like, no, we'll venture out further. Oh, and you think that's bad? Excuse me for a moment. The land prices in the outskirts of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, because they're branching out now, they're outgrowing because there's a little bit of a change in the Vietnamese mindset where a lot of wealthy people and a lot of people in general are saying, you know what, I as a Vietnamese don't want to live in the heart of the city of Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City because it's just too loud, too crazy, it's too polluted, there's too much garbage, and the list goes on and on. So they're branching further and further out. They're selling land further and further out of the outskirts of Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. They are building apartment complexes, condominium complexes, homes, villas, neighborhoods, whatever you want to call it. The prices I mentioned for the land just the land in Hoi An, in those areas of Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, you can triple and quadruple it. You're talking about 100 square meters of land in a prime area outside of the city of Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi. Say you're still going to commute because you've got a high-paying job in those major cities or something of that nature. You're going to spend $500,000 just for 100 square meters of land. And 100 square meters of land is from where I'm standing, short of this guy. Come in about another 40 to 50 feet to this plastic wall and to where I'm standing. That's about 100 meters. People are paying $500,000 for this size of land, and then building villas or some kind of narrow home. It's crazy. It's insane. This land, 504 meters of it, it was under 2 million dong a square meter. Compare that to 30 to 50 million dong a square meter in Hoi An. Compare that to 50 to 125 million dong a square meter in the outlying immediate outskirts of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. So it was a no-brainer, under 2 million dong a square meter for this land. So you do the math, 1.5 million a square meter times 500. Cheap. And then of course this build itself, all the labor, everything that's involved in the entire build of this structure, of this home, I can't say it. Let's just say it was extremely cheap. What's my point? My point is, part of the reason I came out here was to enjoy my retirement, and damn if I haven't done it for the last several years, and this is just going to be the cherry on top of the cake, where I'll live out the rest of my days in this peaceful farming village area with mountain views and just a glorious house, and everything's going to be sweet. I'm not willing any of my assets to anyone after I'm gone. There's nobody back home that I care that much about to leave them anything but maybe a squat and a shit on the sidewalk out here. That's the kind of family I have. That being said, I did at one point, even before I stepped foot in Vietnam, knowing how economically poor some of these people are, I completely changed my wife's life. She was living at home with her parents, which is not uncommon. Married or if you're a married Vietnamese woman, you go live with your husband's parents. You take care of them as well. These women, even if they're working and have children of their own, that's part of their cultural responsibility. My wife had never been married. My wife didn't have any children. She was living at home with her parents. And it was, in my opinion, it was kind of dismal, a little bit on the hopeless side for her. Well, I snatched her right up because she's brilliant. She's fantastic. She's amazing. And I was going to change a life. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to leave everything to some orphanage out here or some charity or go around handing out my money before I died to people in Vietnam. I honestly didn't know. I wanted to change a life out here. And that woman right there is the beneficiary of that. That's the life I've changed. This is part of that. She'll always have a house. She'll always own land. She'll be good to go. She's got a lot of life left. So that's my legacy to a degree, my friends. That's part of my legacy to a degree, to leave that for her. They're bringing in some drywall for more ceiling creations. The builder is here. One of the designers is here. I can't talk too much longer. I hope you understand what I'm talking about when I've described over the last several vlogs all the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I mean, just look at it. You've seen the view, you see the house, you see everything. It's just so fantastic. Who wouldn't when you can get it for the price that I got it? Of course I was going to do that. And it was just brilliant. It's brilliant. This is what you're supposed to do. So don't believe any of this bullshit about, oh, don't buy your wife a house. That's garbage. If you can get out here like I have, which is damn near impossible for expats, get married up, to where you can buy land and build a home out here and enjoy your life, that's what you do. Hopefully I've got at least another decade. I don't know. You know, I'm on borrowed time now. I could go tomorrow, I could go 20 years from now. Regardless, I'm enjoying every day with my wife. It's been just wonderful. I've never been better taken care of in my life. That's the ultimate wife right there. Man, she's a piece of work. So there's the builder in the orange shirt, the designers in the blue shirt, one of the designers, and you can't see her, but my wife is there too. They're just discussing all kind of shit. All right, folks. I'll leave it at that.